welcome for another episode of BTN, our Beginner Teacher Network. We're here virtually today with our virtual panel, our spring panel. I'm so glad that I'm here with several friends from all over the district. We're going to introduce ourselves. You all know me. I'm Greg Griffin. We'll start up with Jessica and Carol. If you could introduce yourselves quickly.
Hey everybody, I'm Jessica Moss with Recruitment and Retention.
And I'm Carol Blaylock, her office mate with Recruitment and Retention also.
And I have a friend here from Lafayette.
Hello, I'm Dusty Bingham, and I'm the instructional coach at Lafayette.
Yep. We also have with us Miss Washington.
Hi, I'm Alisha Washington, Recruitment and Retention Coordinator.
And I have a very good friend from Western Harnett Middle School.
Hi, I'm Michelle Buchanan from Western Harnett Middle School, and I'm the instructional coach.
All right. So I'm so glad. Thank you for your time, for sharing your wisdom and expertise with our beginning teachers. Our topic today is ending the year strong. And so we're going to talk about how we're going to talk about some ways that we can make sure that we have minimal problems, that we don't have to take extra blood pressure pills over the next few weeks if we're a regular classroom teacher. The end of the year can be very raucous. Especially my background is in middle school, it can be a little wild. I would imagine it can be that way in elementary as well if you're not careful. I see some nodding. So that's good. So I'm going to start out and with our first question for the panel is but just what are some common mistakes that you see teachers making during the last few days and weeks of the school year? What are some common mistakes? Would anybody? I see Alisha is ready. Go ahead, Alisha.
I think one of the commonest mistakes is completely changing the routine. Try your best to keep the routine intact, even at the end of the year. I know some days this will be impossible, but I see a lot of teachers, students may say, is it okay for me to go to the bathroom? Yeah, sure, it's end of the year. Don't worry about that. We're not going by those rules anymore, but don't do that. If you've been doing reading groups all year, continue to do those reading groups. You don't have to do the exact same thing in those reading groups. Maybe you can do like a book club or, something else fun just to keep that routine going.
All right. Okay. Jessica?
Okay, I'm just going to piggyback off of what Alisha said. So I think if I remember in the classroom, your list of to-dos is like really, really long. And so sometimes I remember being tempted to work on those things during the instructional day because we do have so much to do. But the end of the year really is the most important time to keep students engaged because my principal used to always say they have the spring sensations. And so, they're excited. And so we've got to make for sure that we're still planning our day with high quality, engaging instruction. And if we do that, a lot of those behaviors we won't have. So
that's exactly what I was going to say. Make sure you're planning just like you always do and you have things for them to do. Never send the message that it's over, that it's the end of the school year, like that nothing matters at this point, or that it's just kind of free time. I think that's a very common mistake is that the message is there that we have, they count the days and that's fine. You're counting them down, whatever. But I would have, you can do like Alisha said, still keep that routine, but have some different kinds of activities. Some, reflections on the year, something fun, memory. Maybe, take time to do some of those fun activities with some of the content that you didn't have time to do before. But when you come in and everything's put away and you're working on putting everything away and they have nothing to do, that's when problems arise, or that you're sending the message that it's, we're just playing till the end of the school year.
Anybody else?
You don't have a plan, they have a plan for you.
It's not that fun.
That's right. Anybody else want to add to that? I would say, for my part, I used to be the only one left teaching sometimes on my hallway, which kind of made me look like the bad guy. But you can't start showing movies too soon. These days you got to be real careful about that. They're going to get bored with those movies really quick, especially in middle school. I don't know. Does that happen in elementary too, maybe? I don't know. It's just, you can have, it doesn't have to be as intense as what you normally do. It can be lighter and more fun, but I think structured activities are definitely what they need. Our next question, what are some best practices for maintaining teacher sanity during testing? My favorite time of the year, Michelle and then Dusty.
Sure. So, from my experience in middle school, getting through the actual test with your group of students is not where the issues arise. It's when you're finished with the test, your class is finished with the test, you've turned in your tested materials, but the rest of the school isn't done. And so you're expected to keep your class quiet and under control for, could be upwards of an hour or more. So the students are allowed to read a book, if my memory serves me right. But something that I've always done that helps as well is I will go ahead and have copied a multitude of coloring sheets and crossword puzzles and word finds and things like that, because we can't be teaching the curriculum either during this time, or we generally don't. So I'll have those set on a table and have an organized way for the children to pick those coloring sheets and puzzles up, bring them back to their desk quietly, and they can work on that quietly for however long we need to sit until testing is complete. But have something for the children to do, because if you don't, then that's an hour, potentially maybe more of time where you guys are just sitting there looking at each other.
Dusty? Thank you, Michelle.
What I find for elementary school is we pretty much keep our sanity the day of testing. It's the days that we're finished with testing or the days leading up to testing. And this kind of piggybacks a little bit off of the first question as well. Just continue to plan those meaningful lessons. It can be a little bit more laid back, but doing the hands-on STEM activities or using the civil science kits some here really does help with teacher sanity. Kids thrive on high expectations and the routines, and as much as we can keep that intact, the more sanity we do keep.
Absolutely. Anybody else? Yeah, Alisha?
I would say just don't be afraid to ask those questions. Don't feel like, I'm a new teacher. Everybody will think I'm dumb. It's okay if you don't know how testing goes.
Right.
If you ask the same question over and over again, I just want to have clarity. I just want to make sure I'm right. I think teachers get stressed out when they wait the day of, testing to ask 1,000 questions. Like, go ahead and ask those questions before.
Anything else? For my part, it was important for me to come to school rested before testing. Like, I know that sometimes we can't, control how much sleep we get, but to the degree that you can control it, I think that's a good week to go to bed on time. Because, it's exhausting having to move around the room, and it's a lot of mental exhaustion, in my opinion. Like, it's just hard to be in a room for 4 or 5 hours without talking, or it's a lot. So I think being rested is important. Yeah, Jessica?
I was just going to add to that. I think as much as we can stay calm, especially leading up to testing and the day of, because if we seem anxious and stressed, we're going to send that vibe to our students, and we don't want them feeling that way. So, just trying to take a deep breath and stay calm and be okay.
Yeah, and this is uncharted territory this year with the EOG Chromebook testing, right? So, so we're going to be calm and everything's going to be okay. Another question for the panel? What are some things that teachers can do at the end of the year that will set them up for success for the fall? I like this question. Some things that we can do now. We'll go with Michelle and then Carol.
Sure. So the end of the year is an excellent time to reflect.
Yeah.
To reflect on your year. The children have been with you the entire year. So ask them, some things that they like, things that they would change for next year. They will be very candid with you, and they will be. And they'll be, if you've established that relationship with them, they will be candid, but they will be kind. But they will give you honest feedback that you can then use for the following year and reflect on your own teaching practices from that year while it is still fresh, because after the summer, it won't be so fresh as you start with that.
And I'm going to piggyback on what Michelle said about that. I taught second grade, and one of the last things we did was I had them write a letter to the future second graders. So they would write a letter, and it was a reflection for me and for them, because I was always pleasantly surprised at the things that they said they loved about what we did that year, or, and almost all the time it was something that had to do with math, a math activity that we did. So it's like a note to self, like that was something really good, but it was a way for them to kind of engage. And, a lot of times children don't like to write, but if they thought they were writing, to somebody that might be sitting in their seat next year, they were excited about it. And it was also a great activity to have when school starts. Like, you've already got something that first day. We read those letters. We talk about, their expectations for the year. But it helped me reflect to see what they thought was fun about our classroom, or things they enjoyed doing, or maybe didn't enjoy doing. That maybe that was something I needed to work on. Second thing, organization. I know at the end of the year, there are so many things to do, and we're so tempted to just put this in the closet, shut it up, or whatever. But if you take the time to organize some of that when you get back in August, or whenever you come back to set up your room, it's a lot easier to find things and have it in place. And then you can spend more time at the beginning of the year actually preparing for the year, rather than just cleaning out stuff you should have already cleaned out, or just that. Those are two things I think that really help at the end of the year.
Anything else? And go ahead, Jessica.
I'll just say with the reflection piece, I think, knowing what the students enjoyed is a good thing, but also thinking about, I always like to think about, what was most frustrating for me, or what caused me stress. That's in my circle of control. And what can I do differently next year so that that's not the case, or that it's at least less stressful for me. And so kind of thinking about those things so that when you start the year, you can problem solve a little bit. And I also, just add to that, I always like to prepare things for the following year. So when I come back in August, I feel like I'm a little bit ahead of the game. Elementary school, just making their journals, or, we had a folder for everything. So just, getting those prepared. Like Carol said, organize and make for sure the classroom library books are all organized, just all those things. So, that would be my advice.
Michelle?
Hey, I'm sorry, just to piggyback off what Jessica and Carol were already saying, now is the time to get started on that stuff. I know 2 work days at the end of the year seems like a lot, but you're going to have a lot of things to work on. And the last thing you want is to be stressed out your last 2 days trying to get everything marked off of your checklist, and then you leave your classroom in shambles. So start a little, set aside time. I'm not speaking from experience.
Guilty.
Take the time now to set aside a half hour here after school, whenever you can create the time without compromising what's going on in the classroom, of course. To set aside the time now to begin organizing and putting your classroom in order, because you will thank yourself when you walk out the door the last day of school and you can really close the door and enjoy your summer. Otherwise, you're going to take it home with you over the summer, and it's going to impact you negatively.
All right. I think we're going to go ahead and start moving into our final thought. We'll start with Dusty. Any final thoughts?
Everyone had really great points. Just know you do have a support team at your school. Always turn to your instructional coach. You can always use them if you need advice. reflection, I think, is the biggest thing. Make sure to take time to reflect. And while you do enjoy your summer, make sure that you try to grow professionally as well over the summer. So anytime I did reflect, I would try to take a little bit of what I knew I needed to do a little better and read a book over the summer or anything I knew, attend even a PD session where I could grow so that I was ready to roll in the fall.
Alisha, final thought?
And also take time to rest as well, guys. This has been a challenging year for us all. So mentally, do some self-care stuff. You definitely deserve it. So you can be ready for the following year.
Michelle, final thought.
So the only thing I would add to what I've already mentioned today is to take the time to savor your last moments with this group of children that you have, because they're going to leave you and they're going to grow up and yeah.
Carol, final thought?
I would just echo everything everyone said. I think, take time for yourself, reflect and plan for next year, and do enjoy those moments with the children, because they do. I mean, at our school, when they left us in second grade, they went to another school, and so we often didn't get to see them anymore, and that's a hard thing sometimes to process. And I know there's a lot of challenging behavior and emotions at the end of the year, but just take time to love on them a little bit and enjoy the moments with them.
And Jessica, final thought?
I'll just say it's no doubt that it's a crazy time at school and in personal lives, this time of year. But I would just say take one day at a time, have your list, think about your big rocks for the day, and just like everybody has said, try to enjoy it and just know that you're going to get through it and you're going to be better next year and summer's coming.
Yes, just keep that summer vacation as the light at the end of your tunnel. Sometimes doing the cumulative records, and we didn't even talk about those today. That's another haul. I mean, just know it shall pass, and I shall be at the beach or the pool or wherever I'm headed. So we're here if you need us. I want to thank the panel today so much for giving up your time to share your expertise and wisdom with our beginning teachers. And we're here if you need us. And until we have another episode of BTN, be well. Panel, wave goodbye to all the viewers. Yay. All right. See you later.
Okay.